Ladies and gentlemen, so today we're going to be sharing my full run in Alliance Quest Map 7 Day 5. We have some insane fights. We've got the Disstrack Crossbones and also a full boss kill of the second Omega Red. There are some really cool fights and also the full Disstrack path and also the Spiked Armor path in the final section. Now, when it comes to Phase 1 of Map 7, my current assignment is backup because there are 9 different paths in the first section. The other 2 sections have 10 paths, so Section 1 does allow for backup there, but pretty much all of the time I've been assisting at the end of this Delirium path because this Delirium Crossbones is absolutely nuts if you mess up, and if you miss the description of the Delirium node right at the start of the video, unless you're playing a robot character or a character that is immune to mind control effects, like for example, you know, Mr. Sinister, Magneto, Juggernaut, then your dash and dodge controls are inverted, and this node is just absolutely crazy, especially on like Day 4 and Day 5 of Alliance Quest. This fight yesterday, I brought in Hyperion and Crossbones. He also has Aggression Fury here. So he stacked up to 4 Aggression Fury, he 4-comboed me in my block and killed my Hyperion. My 565 Hyperion went from 100% health to 0 in 4 blocked hits. It was absolutely nuts, and I'm still very salty about it. So I found kind of the best way to just do the Delirium node in this fight is bring in Sentinel, and Sentinel works an absolute charm because you can completely ignore it. Again, in terms of best matchup here, I mean, Sentinel's like pretty decent for this and he'll get the job done, but especially Mr. Sinister would be tremendously good for this Crossbones node, and also kind of down the Delirium path as well. There is another Agent Venom who's a bit of a problematic fight, but I would say out of all of the fights, man, this Crossbones can be the most annoying, although there is a Domino as well, so she can be a bit of a pain, but the Aggression Fury does make this Crossbones a really big threat. So one of the things that I've also been doing, you know, as backup, because I don't, you know, have much weight to lift in the first section, is I've got the absolute perfect matchup for one of the mini bosses. So kind of scooting over to like the next little bit of Alliance Quest, you have a boss platform, and on the right hand side you've got Emma Frost, and left hand side you've got Unstoppable Colossus, and they kind of link between each other, so you've got to kill one of them first with a minus 50% attack advantage, and they are both really stacked up. I believe they have on this day almost about 300,000 health, as you're going to see here. So this Unstoppable Colossus has 280,000 health, and we also need to kill him with a 50% attack reduction on Captain America, but luckily, you know, this week's Science Week, man, so it's a pretty good time. Yeah, so we're just trying to get the charges here, and Captain America is such an incredibly good matchup against this one, but bearing in mind this Unstoppable Colossus does have approximately 560,000 kind of effective health if you factor in the attack reduction. So yeah, this brute is just absolutely stacked. We're trying to build up those kinetic charges, and you can see Captain America's kinetic charges are doing an absolutely fantastic job of nullifying. We go for a special 2 there. Unfortunately, we didn't get the big juicy crit that we wanted, but it gives us a little bit of time to get some damage in, and now it's a game of baiting out the special 2 here. Occasionally, and this is a bit of a mistake on my behalf, I should take it a little bit more patiently, a little bit more slow here, but I am taking like occasional blocked hits on special attacks just to try and, you know, generate a kinetic charge so we can go straight back in. But the real thing with like Emma Frost and Unstoppable Colossus, as you can see here, and for all the mini bosses currently in Map 7, you have a 15-minute timer, so you've got a lot of leeway in these big fights with the attack reduction as well to kind of take it slow, play it safe. But yeah, just a bit of advice to all the Map 7 ambitious players out there: you do really want to take advantage and maybe not be as greedy as me, because literally, as you're going to see in this video, every single point of health counts, man. The ending is just absolutely insane. My champions are so battered. But also in these longer fights, one mechanic that really starts to come in play is kind of the global dexterity node that punishes you after you have 10 evades by giving the opponent completely unblockable on every single attack for 15 seconds. So yeah, you do need to play around that, you know, hit into block, make sure you have special attacks prepared, ideally to bait out, or just intercept like a god. But yeah, we did mess up a little bit there and get directly hit, but it's alright, we're still above 50% health, we're doing okay here. We bait out another special 2, fire off the heavy attack just to get the fury there, and clench the special 3 for the bonus damage. To be fair, I think out of all of the fights on reflection, this is probably like the worst one that I played Cap Infinity War on, because there are some sick fights coming up on the Disstrack node, man. I absolutely love that node with Cap Infinity War, and especially if you've got, you know, a couple of champions that are science or tech or cosmic on the team, you can absolutely obliterate that node, as you are going to see very, very shortly. So now we've come back swinging, we're doing so incredibly good, just trying to line up a very, very good special 2. We clench one off there, we get a very, very nice 46k crit, and again, this is with minus 50% attack, which is just the very annoying thing at play here, man. I wish, you know, there wasn't an attack penalty, but you can see Captain America, he's already done the equivalent, if there was no attack bonus, of about 500,000 damage here, so just an absolute powerhouse. But again, you do need to take into consideration we got the reduction, a very nice special 2 just to clench it off in Assassin's range, and there we go, Unstoppable Colossus is down, and Emma Frost is open for, I believe, one of my Alliance members, Evie, to take down. But then we fast forward in terms of time to the next morning, because I always like to try and have the first run at the second Omega Red instead of going for the first one, because, you know, everybody's awake there, whereas in comparison to the morning, I'm one of the only players awake. So first up, we have quite a few fights on the brand new node Disstrack. So this node is it's pretty manageable, but very, very annoying on one fight in particular. Basically, unless you have 3 debuffs on the opponent, and it can be 2 of the same kind, the opponent will take absolutely no damage from your hits. So this is where Captain America Infinity War is so incredibly perfect, because just spamming out those heavy attacks and parries, he's going to apply the weakness, the petrify, because I've got science and also tech character in the team, being Void and Sentinel. So yeah, just really, really good, and also you can get that big damage in a very, very concentrated burst as well. Unfortunately, we did not get the special 2 crit there, so we're just trying to be a little bit safe, kind of bait out the special 2 before we go in and try and finish it off. Unfortunately, I missed the parry there, took a little bit of block damage. We get the parry on that one, and I think we need maybe one more parry special 1 to finish it off. Oh, okay, I didn't go for a special 1 there. First thing in the morning, lads. First thing in the morning, but a 5 combo special 1, it does the job, so not too bad. Not too bad at all. So I think every single fight, like after each other, gets a little bit harder, or, you know, there's something else to deal with. And this one is distracting Luke Cage, so he's just a little bit more annoying because he has the indestructible. But yeah, it's just spam heavy here. You got to nail the parries of Captain America Infinity War, but we're having such a good streak as well. We have Bosch like 4 in a row. We take some block hits there. Probably not the best idea, but it also has the advantage of, you know, pushing us up to 5 kinetic charges, so we got some pretty nice damage there as well. However, 0 damage because he didn't have enough debuffs there. Going for the parries again, we fire off a special 2, 31k non-crit, so pretty decent there. However, his indestructible is back, so we've got to be very, very careful here. Bait out the special 2, and then I need to get like another parry or 2 to finish him off. As you can see, 0 damage when he does not have 3 debuffs there, but if we just have the parry and 2 debuffs, it is enough. So we fire that off, get a nice 12k backhand on the second heavy attack there. So yeah, Captain America putting in so much work so far, so doing a tremendous job. Then we've got 3 of the most problematic fights for me back to back. We've got Disstrack Blade with Power Start 2. So I'm kind of looking at my Captain America. He's a little bit beat down from Unstoppable Colossus. I'm debating how many items to put into him. I know he probably needs at least like 6k to get him up there. But we also chuck in a 3000 health potion as well. Now, in terms of potions, these are the only 2 potions that we actually use throughout the entire run, and again, this could have been completely avoided, having to use these potions if I played a little bit better in certain intervals, and I had not got, you know, directly smacked by that Unstoppable Colossus mini-boss. So I've got 2 really tricky fights. I got Blade and then Disstrack Crossbones back to back. It's my first time doing day 5 map 7, and I'm like, if I fail this, it cocks it up for the entire alliance, so there's a lot of pressure to get these fights down. down. So yeah, I decided to pop a couple of boosts there, a 20% and also a health one as well. We go in, we cock up straight away, man, take like 10k damage there. So yeah, that wasn't the absolute best time. We need to bait out this special attack here, get some kinetic charges, and really get into this fight ASAP. So, you know, I'm a little bit sweating, man. I'm a little bit sweating at this point. I'm like, that was such a scrub move when I got into that fight, getting hit by the heavy attack. I totally should have managed to avoid that one, but it just didn't happen there. So we're lining up for a good special 2. The parries are on point, but Blade, as you may be aware, has debuff resistance. The more power he has, we go for a heavy and then fire off a special 2. Almost a 90k crit there. Finally, the crit comes through on the special 2, man, at the perfect time to end off that fight. So yeah, at this point, man, I'm so happy. I'm so chuffed with that one. Aside from getting, you know, a little bit wrecked at the heavy attack at the beginning of that. But I'm also a little bit nervous, man, because this fight, the Crossbones Disstrack, I've seen across quite a few chats, people get stuck on this one, and this is a very annoying fight for a good reason. And I think this is actually maybe one of the most lucky fights I've had against this Crossbones, but the fact that he has like his Fury off his special 1, but also when you're hitting him, a chance to gain the Fury as well, means that he's very likely to shrug off debuffs once he has like 1 or 2 Furies. So yeah, it just makes him an absolute pain in the ass to stack 3 of these debuffs on. And I found the best option for me by far has been this Awakened Void here, because, you know, once you get those sticky buffs on, they tend to work quite well, but there is a little bit of an interval toward the end of the fight where you deal 0 damage as well. But as you can see, you know, we've already had 1 Fear of the Void fail. Luckily, the second one did apply, so that's a really, really good time. The third one doesn't get shrugged off, so at this point, I'm really, really happy. But I have had, like, points where it's been like a minute and a bit, and I still have not got 3 debuffs to stick to this Crossbones. He can be a real pain at certain points. As you can see there, he consumed 1 of them instantly, but the second one from the special 1 stuck. And now we got 3 debuffs, and we can actually start dealing some damage. So it took, you know, 50 seconds in this Crossbones to actually get to the point where we can start dealing any damage to him, which is pretty insane, man. It's pretty insane. This Disstrack Crossbones certainly doesn't mess around, and he's definitely one to prepare for. And because this fight, you know, is quite long in terms of its duration, every time we get 10 evades, he's also going to go unblockable for 15 seconds as well. So we need to be ready to play around that. And one of the things, you know, as soon as you got 3 debuffs on the opponent, you don't want to race to get Fear of the Void. I've found in my kind of experience playing on this fight, like firing off the special 2 is generally kind of the best way to go, and hope that, you know, you actually don't get Fear of the Void, but it's not the absolute end of the world. And today we got fairly lucky and the debuffs do stick, but again, you can get to some really, really horrible scenarios on this, where you just can't get like additional debuffs to stick and either time out or get very, very close to it. So yeah, it's a little bit of a tricky fight, but you can see here all of the debuffs have stuck. I'm a very, very happy man. Special 1, clip that Crossbones down. Easy game, easy life, boys. Super, super happy with that run. Even without the boost, like, both of those fights would have been dealt with, but yeah, it was just for a little bit of peace of mind, considering, you know, I've got so many boosts in Overflow here. But now, you know, I'm out for glory, boys. I'm out for glory on this one. I've got like 30% boost in the Overflow, so I'm like, screw it, we are boosting up. We're going for a 30% boost there. We're going to tank this lad with Sentinel straight away. This Omega Red is an absolute beast of a champion, though. As you can see, over 400,000 health points, and in terms of his nodes, he's immune to heal reversal, he has aggression regeneration, also 200% more health gain as well, and is aggressive, which is, you know, kind of the behavior you want from somebody with, like, such a stacked aggression regeneration. But honestly, you let this fight slip for 10 seconds, and Omega Red is, like, back at 100% health. So what we're trying to do here is get the analysis charges up, although I've had a very, very poor start, so I'm not really too worried about the damage so far. I'm just trying to create, you know, good distance and get some intervals where I can either evade consecutively or block. But I must admit, this fight is just, it's really, really annoying to do with Unawakened Sentinel, because Awakened Sentinel, he fires off a couple of special ones, and then you're 100 analysis, whereas we need to find intervals to, you know, quickly dodge him like twice in a row or hit into his block. And my absolute priority here. I need to get to 100 analysis if I want to start making a dent in this lad. So we're at 80 already. We're doing an alright job aside from the slip up at the start, and it's also put us kind of in a range where we can benefit from the additional attack below 50% health as well, so it's not all bad. We fire off a special 2, and the fight is now beginning, ladies and gentlemen. This is the point where we get in, we want to nuke, and the special 2 is just so incredibly useful for doing that. One cheeky little hit there just to quickly interrupt aggression regeneration, but there we go. We're going back in, we fire off a special 2, and we need that incinerate going, boys. We need those rockets absolutely burning a Mega Red up. We throw a heavy attack to get the shock off as well, and because Sentinel is a robot character, you know, I'm not overly worried for the most part about baiting out a Mega Red Special 2, just because the degeneration applies very, very slowly to Sentinel. It's like 4 times slower than normal characters, so yeah, it just isn't too much of a hassle here. And my really only use for Sentinel is, you know, get through that first fight, and then, you know, smack up the Section 2 Omega Red as much as you possibly can. And on day 1, we almost got a full one-shot of this Omega Red, but in comparison to, like, day 1 Omega Red and day 5 Omega Red, it is, you know, so much more difficult, because the health pool is just absolutely mad, which, you know, in turn makes the regeneration really, really mad as well. So you got to be a little bit careful here. I think we screw up a little bit here, don't find a good interval, and you can see, man, just how quickly that regeneration takes over. In that time, he almost got about 20-25% health, so at this point, I'm like, oh no, this is such a bad time. I'm getting absolutely ruined, lads, but I need to give it my final welly for the last 30 seconds that I have. You know, take as much health as we possibly can do, so that we can, you know, potentially jump in and finish this with Void. Like, at this point in time, I didn't really expect to, like, go for a full Omega Red kill, but I thought, you know, this fight, once I really got into it, was going so incredibly well that we have to go for the redemption round. So as you can see here, getting in that damage, I'm just trying to fire off a special 2 if we can before that timer expires. We fire off all those rockets, get him down to 50%, 49%, and then unfortunately we time out. It was a good try, though. Once we got into it, we took 200,000 health down off Sentinel, and, you know, if the regeneration wasn't in place, that probably would have been about, you know, 300,000, 350,000. So yeah, if I had him awakened and at rank 2 as a 6-star, that would have been, like, the most straightforward kill in the world, but unfortunately, it didn't quite happen there. So after that, we don't want to use Sentinel now, because he, you know, takes a little bit of time to ramp up. He's only really good for the start of the fight if unawakened. If awakened, you know, you can bring him in and get the charges, but hitting into the block, you know, you just don't want to risk healing a Mega Red up to full. So we're bringing in Void for kind of the takedown here, and the aim of the game is to get as many debuffs on him as soon as possible, ideally at least 1 stack of Petrify, so we can fully negate that regeneration and not have to worry about it. But we've got, you know, 2 of the minus evade charge here. He's healed up a little bit at the start of the fight. I'm just looking to get that Petrify as soon as possible, reduce crit chance. We've got no Petrify so far, but we still got 4 debuffs, so Despair is doing a fair bit. I literally just need 1 more debuff to just give me a little bit of peace of mind so that we can nuke into this lad. But yeah, we just did not start off with the best RNG here, and there we go. 1 stack of Petrify combined with Despair provides us a heal block in this scenario. So yeah, he's not healing for absolutely insane amounts, and we are you know, much safer to fight this lad and progress throughout the fight. The plan now is just bait special 1s, make sure we do not get wrecked by that degeneration damage, and it just becomes, you know, much safer and much easier to do. I think Void is just a really solid Omega Red killer. He's so incredibly fantastic for a lot of map 7 stuff, and just kind of gives you that peace of mind and security in this fight that a champion like Sentinel, although while he's, you know, very useful and very fun to play and works out tremendously well for the, you know, the first part, Delirium, and initially beating into Omega Red, you know, there's just a good level of safety when playing Void, because you're like, oh man, he's not going to regenerate up to 100% in 10 seconds if I mess up, but I've got quite a bit of leeway once I've got that first stack of Fear of the Void. But we did take, you know, a few direct hits there, so we are in a little bit shady waters, man. But we got 5% left, just need to beat this lad down. Unfortunately, we've lost our first Fear of the Void, other debuffs consume into Fear of the Void, and there we go, final medium here, and Omega Red is goes down, and I'm proper chuffed for that, lads. I'm very, very happy that we managed to have like a really nice tag team between Sentinel and Void to get down the map 7 day 5 Omega Red. Like, that was a really, really good feeling, because, you know, it's not an easy fight, man. It is a little bit stressful, so I was well happy about that. But anyway, now we got the Spiked Armor path. So this path is Captain America Infinity War's dream, for a similar reason that, like, Captain America is really good for Thorns as well. Is because you can deal so much damage in a very, very small amount of hits. With how stacked his heavy gets and how stacked his medium gets once you've got a few kinetic charges, it just makes it an absolute dream of a fight here. So throwing off the heavy, man, you can see pretty much every heavy is like, you know, anywhere between about 10 to 15k. If we get some good crits there, looking for a very, very nice special 2 at this point to end it. I went for the block there. I probably should have gone for the evade, but the block's always kind of the backup safety option, and a 93k crit to end up that yellow jacket there. So yeah, very, very nice, man. Captain America Infinity War, that special 2 is just so incredibly sweet when it crits to end off the fight. However, one more fight that I've been assisting with as well is the Spiked Armor Void. And just as a bit of a PSA, I've still got the 30% boost active from the previous Omega Red boss fight, so kind of I'm raring and ready to go, even on 38% health there. Like, this Void is actually quite straightforward to deal with Captain America. Like, I'm throwing 3 combos at the start, so I'm throwing like a medium and then a heavy attack. So you can see it's a total of 3 hits on the combo meter. Just allows me to really easily manage the hit count, so I can purify the debuff when it comes up. But at this point, you know, I'm seeing a special 2. I'm seeing a lot of stacks of kinetic charges, so I'm just trying to get a special 2, hope it crits, finish off this Void. But yeah, I'm just not getting the crit RNG that I wanted to win, man. It just didn't turn out, you know, exactly as intended, so we do take a little bit of damage there, but finally the special 1 clinches the fight and finishes off Void. So, you know, it was a little bit sloppy at the end, but still a great matchup for Captain America Infinity War there, and kind of alleviates the pressure off the bottom path as well. But next up, we have a fight that I've screwed up to a couple of times, man, because Quake Special 1, I find it a little bit annoying. It's basically a Spiked Armor defensive Quake here. So yeah, Cap Infinity War. Again, it's the slap 'em, cap 'em tactic. Spam those heavy attacks, look for that big old damage there, minimize the amount of hits, and just see if you can get really lucky with a special 2 crit to end the fight early. But Quake's Special 1, yeah, it can be a little bit of a pain sometimes, but I think we did quite a good job of dodging it today. We didn't even take any blocked hits of it, which means that we don't take any of that super fun concussion damage, which is always a very, very good time. So here, I made a bit of a mistake. I shouldn't have gone for the special 2. I should have played it a little bit more patiently. I think I was trying to you know, not avoid another special 1 and see if that special 2 crit to end the fight there, because if it did, it would have ended out that fight, man, just because the special 2 is so incredibly OP. But it was still a pretty nice recovery. We did even need to beat another special 1 in the end, but Quake went down in 22 hits there, so some really, really solid work from Captain America Infinity War. And then we got the last 2 fights. So we've got this World War II version of Captain America, has just over 110,000 health points here. So again, very, very similar strategy. This dude also has the Spiked Armor node. But on this very last fight, my parries were a little bit off. I think this was definitely not one of my sharpest fights at all. Again, we miss it there. We managed to get a parry here, which is a really, really good time. Fire off, you know, something like an 8k heavy attack. Fire off another heavy attack. Unfortunately, we didn't get any crits on that one. Keep on hammering in with the heavies. And, you know, once I've got about 3 or 4 kinetic charges, usually I like to throw in a medium as well, just because at that point, the Fury's like so strong that it just makes it awesome. We go for a special 2 here. Unfortunately, we didn't get the crit, but we did still deal just under 32,000 damage non-crit, which is very, very nice. We blocked the special 2 there. We actually lost a ton of health. That was a really, really bad play. We should have gone for the evasion. One more heavy attack, and unfortunately, he doesn't go down, but one more heavy or special 1 is going to do it, and there we go. Slice into that man, and he's dropped. At this point, I'm feeling proper chuffed, lads, because we have managed to get through all of the paths and an Omega Red mini-boss and Unstoppable Colossus mini-boss without dying a single time. We've used 2 items, we've used a few boosts, and, you know, we have cocked up like a fair bit as well. So I decide, you know what, we're going for the YOLO play here. Dr. Voodoo has minus 50% attack, but I want to finish him off. I want that glory. So we go with Captain America Infinity War, and it might jump ahead at some point just here, because I got like a phone call mid-fight, which which immediately interrupts the screen recording, so it's proper annoying when it does that. But there we go, we're on the hot trail of Dr. Voodoo, and managing to get those Petrify buffs initially is reversing his healing as well at the start, which is a super good interaction. We dodged that special too. It's really all to play for at this point. I'm on 6% health. We got such a sick crit there, almost 50,000, and again we do have a minus 50% attack reduction on this node because the Cosmic Link node is still active. But you know, I'm trying to finish off this lad, get that glory, finish it off. And there we go. That's pretty much Dr. Voodoo down, lads. One more heavy attack gonna sort it out. So thank you so much for watching today's Map 7 Day 5 gameplay. Captain America Infinity War, absolute MVP. If you made it this far, smash that like button, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.